The stench hits you before you see the mountain, towering heaps of garbage blocking the narrow street in a Kingston garrison community. Your eyes water as the smell settles deep, flies buzz aggressively around the changing colors and textures of the trash. Imagine being this mother, anxious yet resolute, knowing your children's health is at risk with each step near this mountain of filth. The heat presses down, sticky and heavy, making the smell almost unbearable. Sweat mingles with tears as you quicken your pace. In your mind, questions crash like waves. When was the last time the garbage truck came? Will it come again soon? The children cough, their breaths shallow. You feel a pang of helplessness because you know this isn't just dirt, it's disease. Yet, even in desperation, you keep hope alive, hoping for safety, a clean neighborhood, and a future without this burden. Officially, the promise was clear: clean, safe communities with reliable waste management in every parish, to protect families like yours. Public statements assure regular pickups, updating residents on schedules and recycling programs designed for every town. But here, in your neighborhood, the truck hasn't come in 3 weeks, and the garbage keeps growing higher by the day. You hear it from neighbors: the pile is taller than me, and worse, my children are getting sick from the smell and flies. Contributors report feeling abandoned, convinced nobody cares because this is a garrison community, out of sight and out of mind. Walking these streets daily, the contrast is stark. Tourist resorts gleam just miles away, untouched by such neglect. You notice how the system's promise clashes vividly with the reality before your eyes, a divide too wide to ignore. While some parishes manage regular collections, you and many others live caught in a cycle of missed pickups and mounting filth. The gap between official promises and the lived experience widens daily, breeding mistrust and despair among residents. Behind the scenes, resources are stretched thin, with systemic failures in funding, planning, and enforcement. The waste management system struggles to cope, faltering especially in marginalized communities where infrastructure already lags. Competing priorities in urban planning leave many neighborhoods, especially garrison communities, under-resourced and overlooked. The effect is cruel. Health hazards multiply, intimidation grows as flies and vermin invade homes, and dignity erodes. You hear accounts from mothers worried about asthma episodes, stomach illnesses, and chronic infections among their kids. Reports reveal some feel trapped, voicing frustration that appeals for help fall on deaf ears. You see too many signs of decayed garbage fires, clogged drains, and children forced to navigate unsafe spaces. Even environmental degradation is palpable, with soil and water contamination threatening local ecosystems. The system's failure is neither accidental nor random, but entrenched in a cycle of neglect that extends beyond waste alone. Contributors say these problems connect to deeper issues of inequality, marginalization, and historic neglect of certain communities. It's clear that waste management failures reflect broader social inequalities and unequal civic attention. Those most harmed are often the least visible children in gated tourist zones never exposed to such eyesores or hazards. You realize that the garbage piles do not just degrade the environment, they degrade the hope and potential of whole communities. In this reality, neglect becomes a lens through which systemic failures and inequalities are painfully visible. The waste crisis isn't isolated, it echoes a pattern of exclusion that limits access to basic services and safety nets. You sense the urgency for systemic change, one that listens to marginalized voices and redistributes resources fairly. But until these structural gaps are addressed, the streets will continue to be home for mountains of neglected waste and despair. You understand that the garbage problem is only one symptom of a deeper neglect woven into Jamaica's social fabric. This crisis highlights how deeply ingrained inequality affects who lives with comfort and who endures neglect. In a land celebrated worldwide for beauty, these scenes remind us that paradise is not shared equally by all Jamaicans. The truth lies in the streets where children play, not the beaches where tourists flock in droves. The waste management failure reflects broader social exclusion, a crisis demanding awareness and empathy. You walk away from the mountain of garbage, carrying a heavy heart but a clearer understanding of the struggle. This isn't just about trash, it's a mirror showing what happens when communities are sidelined and unheard. In Jamaica, the story of garbage is the story of inequality, neglect, and the urgent need for change. The real crisis pile's not where the tourists reside, but in the streets where your children live and breathe.